For 75 years, anyone dining at Connie's restaurant in Berwyn would know that they were part of a busy, bustling enterprise. But what they might not know is that that's only a part of what happens at Connie's. What else goes on there? Welcome to the Backstory Project, where the story behind the question is told, and we get a window into the people who affect the lives of our communities. I'm Annie Slavinsky, and I have been working with Open Door for many years as an actor, director, teacher, and audience member.
And I'm McKinley Johnson, and I've been associated with Open Door for 15 years as a playwright and a director. In today's interview, Andy Soteropoulos shares his family's history with Connie's and also their gratitude for such support from the community for 75 years. He also shares what else goes on at the restaurant and how it came about. As always, if you enjoy these interviews, please consider making a donation to Open Door. Your support will help the company continue its storytelling on stage and through these videos.
Just visit our website at opendoortheater.net and click on that donate button. Any amount will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
My name is Andy Soteropoulos from Connie's Family Restaurant in Berwyn. So the restaurant started in 1944. A week from today, we're actually celebrating the 77th anniversary. To say 3 generations down. My dad's uncle had originally started the place. My dad was a cook here, chef, and bought the place in 1978 with my mother. And then 8 years ago I came back to the family business, and it's been an experience ever since. It hasn't always been this size. On the other side over there we see the glass partition. The restaurant snack shop was on that side, and this where we're sitting was actually a bar. And then in '88, my parents did a huge remodel to what you see today. And then 8 years ago, put in a banquet room, 55 seats. Outgrew that in 2 years, less than 2 years. And now it's a 100-seat banquet room next door. And then I just opened up another catering operations and a little bit further down, another storefront down. It's all been done to the restaurant. It's just like, you know, the different prep, computer software, a lot more technology than it was 30 years ago. So all the catering equipment, storage equipment, serving stuff's all in an off-site warehouse, stuff like that. Every year catering gets bigger. Catering gets bigger by the month. I would say by the year, but it seems like monthly it gets more impressive by the time. You know, there's a lot of different pharmaceutical companies that hire us, a couple TV shows that we do stuff for. Those are always the interesting ones. 5 p.m. delivery turns into a 1:30 a.m. delivery, and you're setting up a 100-person buffet in an alley in the downtown Chicago at 1:30 in the morning. So it's growing. It's good. You know, restaurant's still growing 77 years later. Banquets, now that the restrictions are letting up, are hopefully getting back to where they were, but they were growing last year. And again, catering, minus the whole individual packaging, is a lot of fun to do as well. As a child in a Greek restaurant, this is Greek daycare. So there's pictures floating around of me, I think, using a meat grinder at 6 or 7 years old, which probably would not be good in 2021, but mid to late 80s were a little bit different of times. So it became a part-time job around 16, 17 years old. Gas money, go out with friends, hanging out, pocket change. Worked here through college. I've done anything you could imagine in this place. I have cleaned tables, I have served tables, I have cooked, I have prepped, I have washed dishes. There's a saying that I will never ask anyone to do anything that I haven't already done or am willing to do. So I will wear whatever hat I have to wear to make this place successful. Working for family is fun. Well, in my case, it's fun, you know. My parents and I always had a great relationship, you know. taking more over off their plate so they're not here as much, enjoying their life, enjoying their grandkids is obviously something that they enjoy. Yeah, the family dynamic, but it gives the restaurant character. It gives the restaurant character, but waking up and hanging out with my dad, having a coffee in the first booth it's a good way to start off the day. My relationship with my family correlates with our customers because we treat them like family. 77 years. I mean, just how we're generations here, there are generations of customers. I stood up there was a customer, their daughter and I are friends. I stood up in their wedding. I held their daughter in the dining room. The grooms, not the grooms, the bridesmaids, I did her baby shower after I remodeled to the larger room. I mean, there's just stories and stories. Started another business with another customer that was a really good friend that my parents were at their wedding 20 years ago. So it's just generations. You know, like I said, it's not customers, it's not tickets, it's not numbers, it's relationships, and that's why people keep coming back. So regular customers, you know, there's the weekly customers that meet every Saturday at this table. There's 5 or 6. Catch up on what happened during the week. I have train enthusiasts that sit in the second booth on Stanley, have breakfast, watch the trains go by. I have multiple Lions clubs that have their monthly meetings here. Family breakfast on a Sunday. You know, when church was allowed. After church was a big deal. Again, it's a lot of good people, and it makes it it's a tough business, but it makes it a lot easier. Some of my favorite experiences, just watching the growth in the last 10 years. Obviously, when the remodel happened in '88, I was really young, but I always remember it was a really huge deal. People still talk about it to my parents till this day, but just coming in and seeing the transition the last 10 years or so, probably 12 years, and watch the growth, and again, doing it with family and seeing the reactions to customers, and they notice and appreciate it. And there's a lot of stuff, you know. That's a hard one to pinpoint, but because experiences, every day there's an experience almost. So there was a storefront over here. My dad's like, you know, why don't we put a lounge? Like 1988 when we had the lounge over here. I'm like, Dad, you know, all due respect, I go, you're not old, I go, but you're up there. I go, you're not gonna have to run it, I am, and the bar thing, probably not for me. Some people aggravate me when they're sober. I don't want to deal with drunk people. So I'm like, what about a party room? And we were able to sit down and design a nice 55-seat party room, and it just helped out tremendously because, I mean, as you can see, we have tables in the dining room, but like anything bigger than 6, 2 tables are gone. In the middle of a Sunday, you know, you lose 2 tables for an hour and a half, jams up the business. You know, there's longer lines, people wait, frustration. You know, it is what it is. It's Sunday. People are hungry after sitting in church. So when that came about, we were able to see, we're like one of the only ones around that could really party at 7, 8, 10, again, prior to COVID, that could do it. Baby showers, wedding showers, funeral luncheons. Oh, like I said, we do everything. I've done everything. I do business meetings. I set up again, in my previous life, before I got back to the restaurant, I did the tech thing. So we have its own Wi-Fi system, its own 100-inch projection system, its own microphone system. So there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies, other businesses that do seminars, baby showers, wedding showers. During the week, there's funeral luncheons. I mean, if there's an occasion that people want to celebrate, within reason, we're pretty much okay with it. So if you want to set up a business meeting, we set up a menu. Guests are seated. Everybody has their own the Wi-Fi password. Usually that's not necessary because one person just literally plugs into my system. Everybody can see the presentation. Lunch is served whenever the guest wants, and it's a lot better than being in a boardroom or a conference room. So yeah, we do a bunch of those. We used to. It's always in the past tense with this. It's hard to get used to this. It was literally, people find us on accident. It's funny that you say that, but a lot of people that work at the movie studio, the studio, actually live in or around Berwyn. So I had just got done implementing brand new catering package software just to make my life a little bit easier. And I get a phone call and says, "Hey, you guys do breakfast, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," giggle. I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we're known for." Like, "You cater breakfast?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." "Big groups?" I go, "What do you consider big?" He goes, "About 120, 140 people." I go, "Yeah, don't worry about it." I go, "I don't start sweating till around 300 people. That gets me nervous." And he starts laughing, gives me an order, put the proposal together, boom, boom, boom. Set up this 150 person breakfast that took us all morning and got it to the studio nice and hot. I didn't even know I was going to the studio, and then they enjoyed it, made their life easier for them, and then it just progressed, and word gets around, and from 6:30 in the morning breakfast to 5:30 in the afternoon soups to 1:30 in the morning buffets in an alley while it's raining in the middle of the city. Pretty interesting, yeah. Everywhere. They film everywhere. I think I was Joliet 4 times in the last 48 hours. Okay, no problem, we do that too. That's a pat on the back, yeah. Yeah, but the larger corporate stuff that we do, the filming stuff, again, when it comes to the TV shows, actors are picky in what they eat, so with the gluten and vegan friendly, and there's another line that people don't associate Connie's with, is that we do custom stuff on the side. Shockingly enough, a staff, me and my 2 guys, we come in, and within 2 hours we could pretty much cook up breakfast for 150 people. So total of me and 3 people. Yeah, we usually prep the day before and come in, and we've done it a couple of times now. So usually, 150 people, 2 hours. Interesting 2 hours. It's fun. It's fun at a 4 a.m. start. It's a double kitchen. People don't see it. There's a double line, and there's some tricks to the trade and some extra equipment that people don't see that we utilize that obviously helps us be able to do that kind of stuff. Pre-COVID, we were probably around a staff of 25 pre-COVID. Again, for a 77-year-old diner, we have a lot of technology and streamline the processes. We're pretty efficient in what we do. There isn't much or any duplication of jobs and stuff like that. Like people need 2 people to do one thing. We buy the best equipment just to make sure that what we do is done once, done right. We're gonna see some form of seating outside again. Make it a little bit, it was nice last year, but we put that together in about 48 hours. We'll put something a little bit nicer out this year. Take a little step up. You gotta remember last year, by that time, people were in the house for 4.5 months. Still nervous. I mean, obviously, people are still nervous today, but last June, we were still in a different phase of this. But they enjoyed it. It was glad. It was, like I said, when you're used to the relationships that you build and the people that you see, to walk into this place empty every single day. And by me, that's not a complaint. I mean, that was nobody's fault. We're following the governor's orders. But when you're just used to talking to people, seeing people, experiencing life with people, and you have to walk into a place that's always so vibrant and it's just dark, that's a different kind of animal. And our customers were great. Phone orders, gift cards, small catering. Again, because we couldn't do anything, but it was just an amazing amount of support through probably our hardest time in 77 years. Worse than 9/11, worse than the '08 crash. Nothing compared to this. It was interesting. That's the nicest way you could put it. Trying to be optimistic. Optimistic. The blueberry muffin story. The blueberry muffin story goes probably around 20 years. maybe, all right, not 20 years ago, but I was in my early 20s, different attitude, different, I don't know if I would react the same way today, but it was a Friday or Saturday night, busy, and on the counter, you know, you have little Danishes, and you used to have individual muffins up until that date, and stuff like that, where people grab a cup of coffee, grab a pastry, and go. Gentleman came in and bought a Otis Spunkmeyer blueberry muffin. $1 a night, whatever it was, how many years ago, it was insignificant, let's say $2. Thank you very much, have a nice night. I turn around and talk, let's say I'm talking to the lady, how was everything, dinner was good, blah, 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 how's the family, and all of a sudden I get hit in the head, and I'm taken back, and I look, and there's a blueberry muffin on the counter, and I'm like, I look, and I go, there's the gentleman who bought the blueberry muffin. I go, did you just seriously throw a muffin at me? He goes, this muffin tasted like bleep. I go, my apologies, I go, but I could complain to Otis Spunkmeyer, or I could have just given your $2 back. You didn't have to throw a muffin at my head. And then he started with F-bombs and some other choice language. So I think the only reason he didn't end up on Harlem Avenue was because they used to have the Tribune and the Sun-Times box outside. But his forehead opened both doors, and that's the only reason he didn't end up on Harlem Avenue. That's one of the goofier ones. I come to work every day because every day is different. Every day is different. There's a new challenge. Sometimes good, sometimes aggravating. It is what it is. It's different. Like I said, it's not going. I did the desk thing. I did the desk thing, the 9 to 5. I did the traveling thing with work. It's good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was a cool experience for me at that age. But anything that's worth doing is aggravating. Can be aggravating or frustrating or tiring. And if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it for myself and my family. And like I said, sitting over here, knocking out the breakfast, 20 minutes later, doing a 60-person luncheon, at the same time making sure 120 people go out the door. It's the excitement. It's exciting every day when you have to juggle and wear all those different hats. And like I said, this is gonna be an interesting year, because like it's the recovery, but it's different. You know, it's a gradual recovery, and it'd probably be interesting to see the memories pop up on Facebook of what it looked like last year, and see how far we've gone in a year. You know, sad to say, a lot of people didn't make it. You know, a lot of people are still not going to make it. It's a sad situation. It's a horrible situation. You know, talking about people that have been around for generations, or were excited to put their life savings into something to get out there. You know, you're as fortunate as us that 2021 is going to be the best we could do. We'll have to make do with what we can. Just want people to know that small businesses appreciate your support. Small businesses are the cornerstones of the community. They're the ones that grow up with you and your family. They're the ones sponsoring the T-ball teams or the rec leagues. They're the ones that make sure your church events have whatever donations they need. Corporate is cool. Everybody does it. I do it too. My kids like it too. You know, it is what it is. But when you see the support local, it truly makes a difference for your neighborhood, because those dollars really do come back into your community, and it makes the entire community better. So thank you for all the support for 77 years, and I won't say another 77 more. I promised my father I'll make it to the 100th anniversary, so I only have 23 more years, but who's counting, right? It's like a life sentence over here.
From Joliet to Lake Forest with 3 other stops in between. That's crazy busy.
I think the most challenging had to be serving dinner to 100 people in a Chicago
Oh.
alley in the rain.
Now that's love for your community, really.
Our next interview returns us to the world of community journalism, where we will be hearing from Michael Romaine, equity editor of Growing Community Media and editor of the Austin Weekly News. You definitely do not want to miss this interview. It will be posted on November 16th. Now, if you are not on Open Door's constant contact list, just email us at opendoor902@gmail.com and ask to be included on the list. The link will be emailed on November 16th, and it will also be available on our website the same day. Just click on the Backstory Project for Michael Romaine's story.
And before we leave, thank you again to Andy Soteropoulos of Connie's Restaurant for sharing his story, and thank you for listening. Now, if these stories matter to you, please donate to Open Door. You can visit us at opendoortheater.net. Click on that donate button, and remember, any donation in any amount will be greatly appreciated.